Hallo, I'm Tristan Tucker. Leuk dat je kijkt naar paard&lifestyle.
Ja, zeker leuk dat je kijkt, want we zijn dus in deze aflevering met Tristan die ons 3 tips geeft over hoe om te gaan met een kijkerig paard. De uit Australië afkomstige Tristan kent natuurlijk inmiddels allemaal als de man die elk paard bomproof kan maken en hij kan ook nog eens een aardig potje in de ronde sturen. Dat is een combinatie die je niet veel tegenkomt. Wat ik allereerst wilde weten is wat volgens hem de nummer 1 fout is die wij ruiters allemaal maken.
I think the most common mistake is that we don't prepare the horses before going out. A horse is born only knowing how to survive in nature, and if he's left only to survive with his natural instincts, that's the only thing he can use. And so preparing your horse to understand what it is they're going to be exposed to, I think is the most important thing. And of course in my training I'm exposing them to things so that they learn to offer the right response. So different to desensitizing where you do a lot of the same thing until they get used to it. It's more that the horse is exposed to a certain kind of pressure and that they learn to give the right response, therefore they feel confident.
Dus we moeten ons paard beter voorbereiden. Maar ja, wat als je net je proef aan het rijden bent en je paard ziet opeens een bakkenbuiter? Of hij vindt de jury eng? Wat doe je dan?
Well, at that point you're on your own because you haven't done the homework to prepare the horse. But of course the worst thing you can do in any situation where there is pressure is to give more pressure. I try to think of it as if there was a big spider on the wall over there and I go and push you towards it, the first thing you're going to do is push more away. So of course if there's something spooky in the corner and we turn them away and put more pressure on, then the first thing the horse is going to want to do, he can't see it, the thing anymore, it becomes more pressure. When you put the leg on, there is more pressure, so the horse wants to go away more. Sometimes you can get away with that, where if it's a horse that's a little bit bluffing and you can manage to keep him there. But the best thing to do is to be able to lead your horse to something. So I try to feel that I can, if my horse is going a little bit away, especially with young horses that are at the show maybe for the first time, and they're seeing something on the wall, rather than push them towards it, I try to lead them towards it with the front end. So again, thinking about the spider on the wall, if I push you towards it, it's more scary, you want to push more away. But if I take your hand and lead you to it, you're more willing to go, oh, maybe I'll try.
We moeten ons paard leiden in plaats van dwingen en forceren. Het klinkt allemaal vrij logisch, maar ook in de praktijk heeft Tristan al meerdere keren aangetoond dat zijn methode ook echt werkt, zoals op Horse Event. Maar waar ik toch wel benieuwd naar ben, is waar hij als eerste mee begint als hij een nieuw paard op stal krijgt.
So I start on the ground and I'm getting basic body control and control of the feet. Because of course the only way a horse can move is through their feet. If I have control of the feet, I have control of the horse. Same in the riding. Riders talk about tempo change and control. And that's the same thing here, so that when I begin to start with applying a certain pressure, whether that be pressure of movement, of touch or of sound, these are the 3 main things that horses are afraid of. When I start to ask them the question, for instance, movement, if I ask them the question of what do you do when something moves around you? And in the beginning she gets nervous. When she drops the head, I stop. So in the beginning she's not getting used to the flag by doing it over and over and over till she's numb and says nothing else. She's getting a little bit worried and then she does something physical that relaxes herself. And of course whatever happens physically happens mentally. If they get relaxed and calm physically in the body, then mentally she gets more relaxed. She feels she has more control. And the idea is to get the horses to feel they can control themselves in the environment instead of us trying to control them. So in the beginning, the dropping of the head is a coping mechanism for her to realize how to relax eventually mentally. Because in the end we don't want her to put the head down every time, because you can go into the arena and she feels a bit tense and then the head goes down. You know, it's just to get her to start to realize the pattern of how to control yourself. And then as we take the level of pressure up, she doesn't feel like she has to go somewhere else. She feels like, oh, I'm relaxed mentally, so I don't have to worry anymore. So it's a process of building the threshold of pressure to a level that's high enough that they know what to do in every situation. Again, going to a threatening environment, to us a threatening environment might be a room full of snakes or crocodiles. In the beginning, you know, you don't go in and just be okay with it. You have to learn how to deal with these things and how to deal with it step by step. You're not going to go straight away with 10 crocodiles around you. You might go in with one and someone shows you how to approach them, how to relax yourself so you don't get in panic. And it's the same process for the horse.
Die krokodillen die hoeven voor mij niet zo. Maar misschien heb je nog wat tips?
Yeah, well, number one is what we talked about before, that if you haven't had the training yourself, or the horse hasn't had the training, that if you get in a pressure situation where your horse is running away from something, try to think about leading them towards the thing instead of pushing them towards the thing. The second tip is to try to prepare yourself that you are letting your horse experience certain things that he will experience at the shows. So of course, traditionally, the way we train horses tends to set them up for failure, because we always ride, you know, in the quiet surroundings of an indoor. If we're on a young horse, we may even tell people, please be quiet, I'm on a young horse, you know. And then you kind of condition them. Yeah. So I always feel the variety in changing the environment and letting your horse understand how they should react and respond to those things. We do that in the training. So before we take the young horses out, we teach them to approach objects of movement, touch and sound. We hang things a lot up in the arena. The environment's changing a lot, so that the horse is learning that he still has to focus on me no matter what the situation. And so the horses then get more and more comfortable in feeling, when I'm listening to the rider, when I focus on Tristan, then I feel more confident. And then probably the other thing is, if you get into, you know, a situation where the horse is really getting scared, I always try to tell my students to think about the feet, not about the head. And when you have two reins and the horse is straight, that is when you have the moment where the horse has the most power. Yeah. He's pushing forwards with the hind legs, he's have the strength and the straightness of the bit in front. Yeah. And so I always think about trying to disengage or control the feet in a way that you put bend in the horse's body. When the horse is straight and you have tension in the horse's body, the more straight he is, the more tense and strong he can be. If you can just break that line from the tip of the head to the tail, you're automatically going to break the resistance in the running away. And you then make something physically soft in the body, so mentally they get more calm and you can regain control.
Vond je deze video leuk? Vergeet dan niet om de video te liken en te delen. En wil je weten wanneer we nieuwe video's online plaatsen? Schrijf je dan in voor onze wekelijkse nieuwsbrief. Tot de volgende keer!
Hello, I'm Tristan Tucker. Leuk dat je... Say it again. Leuk dat je kijkt naar paard&lifestyle. Okay. Leuk dat je kijkt naar de paard&lifestyle. Okay.